The time is 6:45. Good evening, it's about 17 minutes to 8 South Africa time, and I see we have people watching us all around the world.
What year is this?
It's 2022!
Tonight, travel chaos as countries around the world race to shut out the Omicron variant. South Africa's president fighting back, urgently asking countries to lift all travel bans.
These restrictions are completely unjustified.
We have visual evidence that some protesters have made it inside the Capitol building.
We have a breach of the Capitol! Breach of the Capitol! To the upper level!
Now somebody, anybody, everybody scream!
The Gauteng Cooperative Governance MEC, Lebogang Maile, has given the Speaker of the city 7 days to report back on the sitting. Maile has written a letter to the City of Joburg's Speaker, Vasco da Gama, requesting a report on the collapse of the council meeting.
Vladimir Putin has just addressed the Russian people moments ago, announcing what Putin called the start of a military special operation, in his words, to demilitarize Ukraine.
Oh, wow! Wow! Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
No turning back now.
Come on! Jeez!
Having any fun yet?
Sean, tell me, what are your pronouns?
He.
Okay, I'm thinking of us, your majesty, your highness.
The perfect answer.
How many genders are there?
I don't know. I just got here.
Virginia jury has found that Amber Heard defamed her ex-husband Johnny Depp and has been ordered to pay $15 million in damages.
Political upheaval in Israel. Prime Minister Naftali Bennett and Foreign Minister Yair Lapid are disbanding their coalition government. The country is now facing its 5th national election in 3.5 years.
The White House sounding the alarm on the global semiconductor chip shortage. It isn't going away anytime soon, affecting production in several major industries, including automakers, smartphones, and medical equipment.
The former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has died after being shot while giving a speech at a campaign event.
The nicest boyfriend ever.
My wife says she doesn't want anything for her birthday, but look at her headphones. She got the customer service 1998s. It's missing a foam ear pad, and she's literally holding it together with these old pieces of tape. As an early birthday surprise, I went to the store and got her a fresh roll of tape.
The fuel price will remain volatile as the world navigates the Russian invasion and the implications that have come as a result.
Public Protector Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane surprised members of Parliament yesterday by deferring most of the questions put to her on day 5 of her impeachment hearing.
Well, this after the cross-examination of former SARS executive Johan van Logenberg. Instead, she has asked to submit written responses. Her lawyer, Dalim Mpofu, admitted on her behalf that she had been in possession of a classified intelligence report while she was investigating an alleged rogue unit within the Revenue Service.
26 years after Bafana Bafana lifted the AFCON title, Banyana Banyana have emulated them to claim continental glory.
This MacBook is literally trash.
Got his pass away. Here's Billy LaRue! He's got it! It's been a systematic dismantling of the old foe. It's South Africa 26, New Zealand 10.
Now somebody, anybody, everybody scream!
I left Zim because of economic challenges. That's why I came here to South Africa for better opportunities.
She is one of 250,000 people who came forward to accept the Zimbabwean exemption permit in 2009. It was introduced by the South African government to allow Zimbabweans in the country to live, work and study
regardless of their immigration status.
Well, government says that those benefits will be terminated at the end of this year.
Mikhail Gorbachev, the last leader of the Soviet Union, has died at the age of 91.
Huge reaction to that FBI raid at Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence, where 15 boxes of material were hauled away.
It might be early days, but paddle tennis has been riding a crest of a wave in South Africa. The game, which is basically a mix of tennis and squash on an enclosed court, has enjoyed tremendous growth.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky came to thank his troops for their stunning advance. Everyone wanted a selfie. This was in Izium, a strategic city now free of the Russians. He's vowed to drive them out everywhere else.
Load shedding has become more than just an inconvenience. The consequences of rolling blackouts have taken a heavy toll on South Africans, and patience seems to have run out.
Do you have electricity in Morocco, Howard?
Remarkably, that's the one thing I'm going to bring back from Morocco. I'm going to bring back a whole box of electricity for you all.
Hey, yo, Pudgy. How'd you sleep last night, my guy?
Let me say that I am now like one of those booster rockets that has fulfilled its function, and I will now be gently re-entering the atmosphere and splashing down invisibly in some remote and obscure corner of the Pacific.
The leadership of Britain's government changed hands this morning with a familiar ceremony in a very unfamiliar place, you could say. The new Prime Minister, her name is Liz Truss, met with Queen Elizabeth at her country home in Scotland.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
Liz Truss announcing her resignation today, making her the shortest-serving Prime Minister in UK history.
The White House has confirmed that President Cyril Ramaphosa will meet U.S. President Joe Biden in Washington.
A few moments ago, Buckingham Palace announced the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
Just moments ago, King Charles III was officially proclaimed king by the Accession Council at St. James Palace. And here you can see him right there signing that proclamation.
The most dangerous sneaky attack I've ever seen.
A razor-thin defeat amidst a surge from the far right. As the final votes were tallied, Sweden's center-left Prime Minister Magdalena Andersson conceded the race and announced plans to resign.
The ANC's back in the driving seat in Johannesburg after DA Mayor Mpho was voted out.
It's hell on earth as Hurricane Ian slams into Florida. 155 miles per hour winds, 18-foot waves, epic destruction.
Take a look at the cars now. They're all bunched into each other over there.
The wind continues to ramp up.
But we're going to get smashed here. There are down trees literally everywhere, all over this area.
This is what Ian looks like from space. A swirling monster. Those flashes, lightning.
وتعظم وتزيد من رفعة صاحب السمو الشيخ محمد بن زايد آل نهيان.
No.
I sort of felt like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I came in for a tour of what the previous show was, and then the next thing I know, I was handed the keys. But I couldn't have done it without you, and I wouldn't have wanted to do it without you. And so we'll figure out the timings and the whens. You know, we'll still be here for the time being. But all I can say is thank you very much.
Israel and Lebanon say they have reached an agreement over a disputed part of the Mediterranean Sea. Both countries are claiming an area where there are significant natural gas reserves.
A short time ago, it was announced that Rishi Sunak is set to become Britain's next Prime Minister.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
A problem. Yet another controversy for Kanye West, also known as Ye. He's been locked out of his Twitter account now, the platform suspending him after an anti-Semitic tweet. That tweet said, quote, "When I wake up, I'm going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people."
Adidas has now officially severed ties with Kanye West, who of course legally changed his name to Ye. The German sportswear company is the latest brand to distance itself from him after a series of offensive anti-Semitic comments in recent days.
Ukrainian forces have broken through Russian defenses in the south of the country while expanding their rapid offensive in the east.
We've atoned for our negative attitude towards Israel, and it's time to have our lands covenant together, ask the Lord to covenant with our respective lands, and that way we will achieve the peace, the stability, the prosperity and good governance that God has ordained that we must each have.
Like a boiling cauldron, the busy Baltic Sea bursting with gas from ruptured Russian Nord Stream reinforced pipelines.
Russia does have an undersea capability that would easily lay explosive devices.
Here in Moscow, of course, many people say that we should look at who might benefit from this incident. And of course, they point at the United States, which might find it easier to sell its gas to Europe.
United under one umbrella, opposition parties in Parliament gave the acting public protector 7 days to respond to their demand for the release of the reports into the Phala Phala saga. A sea of people accompanied the opposition parties to demand accountability for the saga, which implicates President Cyril Ramaphosa.
Staying on with its stringent zero-COVID policy, China has imposed fresh lockdowns and restrictions to stop the outbreak from spreading to the capital.
Elon Musk has now completed his $44 billion deal to buy Twitter after months of legal battles, and he's changed his own Twitter title to Chief Twit.
The Johannesburg serial arsonist. Now, this is a 36-year-old man who has been terrorizing some of the residents in Johannesburg for the past 2 years. Now, he has been on the run since February 2021 and was only arrested in October 2022 in Emerentia.
UK, France, Canada and Australia have now warned their citizens to stay away from crowds of people and large gatherings in Sandton this weekend. This is all in light of the terror attack warning issued by the United States.
The Johannesburg High Court ruling in favor of Dr. Mpho Phalatse earlier today. She had challenged her dismissal recently as Joburg mayor. The court said the decision to hold a motion of no confidence against her was unlawful, unconstitutional and invalid.
Bottom line is we just weren't up to standard today. As a team, we just weren't good enough, and we didn't come out and perform as a unit.
An official tally of votes in Israel's parliamentary elections confirmed on Thursday former Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's triumphant return to power.
End of flashback.
Is this thing on?
Hold on 1 second. My father's reading.
Okay. Good evening. The time has just gone 8:43, and on behalf of the South African Jewish Report, welcome to everyone watching us around the world. Tonight is the 142nd webinar broadcast since lockdown began.
Oh, wow.
And the 23rd celebration of the annual Absa Jewish Achiever Awards. This year, we had 770 nominations for our 9 categories, 4 panels of judges led by the remarkable Jeff Rothschild, 8,297 members of the public voted, and more than 11,000 votes were cast.
Well done. Very good.
Tonight, we present a slew of incredible nominees and winners, all of whom have made us so incredibly proud of what we as a community have contributed to the building of South Africa.
Howie? Seems like we've lost Howie.
Dina, you're on mute.
Sorry. All this technology, it never works.
And that's why we still print a newspaper. This year, we published 45 editions, read in hard copy by 33,000 people each week, a newsletter distributed to 30,000 people per week, a website visited by 400,000 visitors this year so far. And we communicated with our readership across almost 2.5 million emails just this year.
I think we just lost Peter and got hit by load shedding. Anyway, our webinars have been watched more than 2.5 million times by people across the globe. Amongst many others, we've told the stories of Sylvia, the Mossad spy, Simon Sinek, the woman in gold, and the largest drug bust in US history. Oh, Bubbles! Hold on a second. Let me give it to Andrew.
We've created the best newspaper in the Jewish world. We've reinvented what community looks like in the 21st century and become the platform that allows our community to flourish.
We're the only national newspaper of the South African Jewish community, distributed free of charge in 242 locations around the country. All money raised tonight goes to support the free publication and distribution of the SA Jewish Report. I think my hotspot just...
Benj, maybe we should. No, I think right.
How about
okay, sorry.
Sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead, Hirsch. Go ahead. Baruch Hashem, I've got 6 kids, 2 dogs, 1 wife, and a faulty generator.
There's definitely something wrong with the generator.
Oi, Hirsch, I better deal with this.
It gives me a great opportunity to thank Absa, our sponsors who've been our amazing partners and sponsors for the last 19 years. I know many of our members and our winners and our recipients bank at Absa. And once again, as always, Absa are the proud sponsors of some of our most prestigious awards tonight, the Business Icon Award, the Business Leadership Award, and the Absa Professional Excellence Award.
Can you hear me now?
Loud and clear, Howie.
I was talking for like a minute before I realized I've been kicked off the call. Anyway, we're so grateful that this year we have named the Humanitarian Award as the Bertie Lubner Humanitarian Award in honor of Chief Rabbi Cyril Harris. Bertie was a giant in our community, a founder of the SA Jewish Report who devoted his entire life to the upliftment of the people of South Africa. We are so privileged to have an award named in his honor, together with the Lubner family who have continued the remarkable legacy of Bertie since his passing.
I'll be right back.
The Kirsch family exemplifies everything that can be achieved by the generosity of the human spirit. Their philanthropy around the world, and in particular in South Africa, has been nothing less than remarkable and an inspiration for all of us.
Europcar has become synonymous with leadership. They allow us to celebrate the remarkable achievement of women in South Africa, in business, the arts, in NGOs, and protecting the rule of law in our remarkable land.
Man-Made allows us to shine a light on those members of our community who ensure that despite our challenges, or rather our development in resilience, our community remains as vibrant, innovative, and strong as ever.
Something wrong with my connection.
What?
Can you hear me now?
It sounds like you're a bit underwater. How about now? Cray.
Enough of this now. Can't we just do this in person?
Yes, please.
Let's
get out of here, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to life. Apparently, we've become a resilient nation. Chief Rabbi, Honored Rabbonim, members of the Diplomatic Corps, to our leaders of political parties, our members of parliament, the Mayor of Johannesburg, a huge welcome to all of you tonight. But more importantly, to our partners, Absa, to our sponsors, the Lubner family, the Kirsch family, Man-Made Media and Europcar, it is such an honor and a privilege to be able to welcome you all, but more importantly, our nominees and our winners tonight, it is just such a privilege. Tonight is definitely not the night for long speeches. We've had a much too long beginning already. Tonight is about inspiration and entertainment. And an evening maybe that can instill a little bit of hope in all of us in South Africa. So it's a big welcome to all 914 people sitting in the room tonight. A massive welcome to the thousands and thousands of people who are watching us this evening on Zoom and YouTube and on Facebook as well. And for those of you who've attended a Jewish Achiever Awards before, you'll notice that tonight looks slightly different. We thought life has more or less returned to normal. And so tonight, we wanted a little bit of a party. I have two very short messages that I want to bring you tonight. If you think about it, in the last week alone, our community has had the Board of Deputies Conference, the Miracle Drive, the Chev Women's Dinner, the Challah Bake, the Shabbos Project, the Safim Dinner in Cape Town. Whoever is worried about our diminishing numbers and the vibrancy of our community just has to look at the last 7 days to understand that the vibrancy and dynamism of our community is unparalleled anywhere in the world. There is no community as active and as vibrant as us. Our community simply pulsates with energy. Nowhere else in the world could we gather 914 people in a room. Nowhere else in the world would 717 people have been nominated for Jewish Achiever Awards this year. Many of them never ever been in the awards before. We had 4 panels of judges, 30 judges in total, 8,500 people voting, and 11,000 votes cast by members of the public. Our community is remarkable, and we will not be defined by our size. And that's message number 1. Message number 2 comes from the fact that we're in stage 4 load shedding. And it's a sad reflection on us that we've actually learned to live with this. We brought in our own generators tonight. We've just blown up our second generator of the day. So if any of you are in that business, we're probably in the market here. And of course, besides for the electricity problems, we have huge problems in our country. We've got an incompetent government and a corrupt government, and let's face it, we deserve a lot better as a nation. Sometimes it's a little difficult to be optimistic in the dark. But I want to talk about pessimism because it's easy to be pessimistic. Before you get pessimistic, look around this room. Look at the awards this evening. Look at the nominees and the winners. If that doesn't bring you hope, nothing will. You know, Philip Kravitz, who a few years ago won the Lifetime Achievement Award, told me a story. Told me the story that he was in a meeting with the then Israeli President, Shimon Peres. And someone said to the president, Mr. President, you've devoted your entire life to pursuing peace, but yet you've only known war. How do you remain an optimist in circumstances like that? And Shimon Peres said, you know, optimists and pessimists, they all die the same, but they live very different lives. And so my wish for all of you tonight is to live a very different life. And with that, after 2.5 really tough years, welcome back to life.
Back to life, back to reality, back to life, back to reality, back to life, back to reality, back to the here and now, yeah. Show me how, decide what you want from me. Tell me maybe I could be there for you. How
Please welcome your host for the evening, Mr. Harry Sideropoulos.
Hello, hello, hello. How's it? Hello, 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 hello. How's it? Hello, how's it? Hello, hello, hello. How's it? Hello, hello, hello. How's it? Kalispera, welcome, welcome. Hello, hello, hello. So many faces. Hello, hello, hello. How are you? Hello. How's it? Oh. Whoa, 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 whoa. I am so happy to be here tonight hosting the Absa Awards. It's so lovely to be live, and it's even lovelier to be alive. So I'm thrilled that we are here. We've got a wonderful evening planned for all of you. Oh, guys, so many wonderful faces, so many wonderful old faces, so many wonderful friends wearing new faces. It's fantastic to be here. Truly, I am your host, Harry Sideropoulos, and I'm the best entertainment in my price range. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we celebrate the very best of your community. Tonight, we're celebrating the achievers, standing tall, making a difference not only in your community, but in the broader community. Tonight, we celebrate them because unlike SARS, we give back. But we all know that as a community, you always do very well. You always do better than everybody else. Always. Always do better than everybody else. And we know the reason. We know the answer. Of course you do better than everybody else. Because your New Year's in September. You get 3-month head start on the rest of us. That's why you do better than everybody else. It has nothing to do with talent and ability. 3-month head start, no wonder you do better than everybody else. Right. So now, most importantly, a very big thank you for all of you for being here tonight. It's a crazy time. As you heard, last week was the Shabbos project. It's exams. You're wrapping up your kids. You're getting ready for camp. I mean, that's huge. Camp is huge. I mean, you've got to find stretchers. And then you've got to go on Joburg Jewish Mommies to find a camp chair. Because God forbid little Joshi doesn't have a chair to sit on camp. And then after that, you've got to figure out the trommel. What are you going to put in the trommel? Takes time. How are you going to design the trommel? Huh? Back on Joburg Jewish Mommies. Hi guys, looking for some stencils. Have you guys got anything? It's crazy. It's a difficult time for you people. It's difficult. It really, really is. And then you've got to figure out, what are you going to put in the trommel? What are you going to put in the trommel? Huh? You've got to go from aisle 1 to 9 at discount. Bare necessities. Bare necessities. And then you close the trommel. And then you go, it's okay. Sure. It's okay. We're going to call the guys to come and fetch the trommel. It's fantastic. It's done. It's done. And then you realize it's not done. You realize that what happens if little Johnny wants to open the trommel in the middle of the night on camp? How's he going to see what's in the trommel? So then what do? Huh? Of course. Huh? Of course. You come up with a magnetic torch for little Johnny. Yes. And you put that in the trommel. So when he can open up the trommel in the middle of the night, he can find his little sweeties. All of this takes time. A lot of time. So I'm really grateful that you found the time to be here tonight. But more than that, ladies and gentlemen, a very big welcome. A special welcome to all our guests who are friends of this community and are with us tonight. Especially if you're one of the 44 speaking Afrikaans linguists in South Africa. A special welcome to you. Ek is baie bly om julle sien vanaand. Dis wonderlik. Dankie. But last of all, let's talk serious. Let's talk food. Dolores. She is responsible for the food here tonight. Dolores, 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 feeding people in the Jewish community since the dawn of time. Tonight, we're not going to stop for the food. The food is not going to stop for the show. It's just going to continue. It's going to continue, and it's going to keep coming. Tonight, the food is a little bit like load shedding. Just when you think it's over, there'll be more. So, lastly, it gives me great pleasure to be hosting here. But more importantly, 2.5 tough years for so many of us. We lost many, many people. So, may we never ever as a human race be forced to not sit across a table from loved ones ever again. That's what I wish for all of us here tonight. It is my pleasure to introduce Absa, the sponsor of the Jewish Achiever Awards for 19 years running. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Chief Executive, Relationship Banking, Faisal Mkhize.
Can I get a business account that is tailor-made for my business?
Can I earn interest on my business savings and easily access the funds when I need to?
Can I do my business banking any time of day, quickly and safely?
Can I upgrade and control my business account as my business evolves?
Can I accept payments for my business anytime, anywhere?
Open a Business Evolve account online today and get free Cash Flow Manager to integrate your business banking solutions.
Can we hear you? Do you want to use my microphone?
Thanks. I like your responsiveness. You're on the ball. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It's my singular honor this evening that I give a message of just support and welcome each and every one of you for joining us on this special occasion for the Jewish community. In the interest of time and progress, I would like to recognize all the protocol by acknowledging all the leaders in the religious communities, our politicians, and also our distinguished guests, mostly our clients that we have in our midst, and each and every one of you for having made time to join us on this special occasion. Maybe before I say some few words, I just want to reflect on the time that I've spent last Friday with Howard and some of the organizing team organizing this occasion. I was inspired in many respects. They shared with us, the road that gets traveled in terms of organizing such events, ensuring that we have an opportunity to recognize and acknowledge amazing work that gets done in communities in terms of ensuring that in spite of all the challenges that we all know, that we are familiar with, that we have people that believe in this country, that do everything to make sure that we are able to make progress and move beyond the call of duty in their respective areas of trade to ensure that we make South Africa a great place. From an Absa point of view, we've always been vocal about our ambition to becoming a leading African bank in terms of making sure that we bring possibilities to life. Over and above that, we are committed to ensure that in our purpose and mission, we become the force for good to ensure that we are able to support communities and societies to be able to make a difference in the lives of others. I must say, having traveled through the challenges of COVID-19 and the impacts that is devastated our society, and I've seen the quality of work of some of your organizations in terms of reaching out, ensuring that people get served, that there is hope, that there is support in spite of the difficulties and also not having known what the future could look like. So what is left of me this evening, because I'm not keen to do long speeches, to say to the winners and also the nominees, we are very grateful. We are very grateful for your hard work. We are very grateful for your talent, for sharing your talent with the world. We are very grateful for the difference that you make in communities. And we think that it is through your efforts that we get inspired, that we can sit around the table this evening and enjoy and celebrate your hard work. So it is in that spirit that we believe, from Absa Bank point of view, that it is through these partnerships that we have this evening that we can, and then we have a better chance of building the South Africa we desire. Thank you very much. Congratulations to all the winners. Keep up the good work. We are very proud of you. Thank you.
So Faisal, we're going to now officially begin the awards. So you're not going anywhere, because I did give you a piece of paper with a little envelope inside.
All right. As we kick off the evening, let's get going. The winner of the Absa Business Icon Award goes to Fred Kaddish.
I'm Fred Kaddish from Freemax Farms, and we're farming potatoes, maize, cattle and soyas. After matriculating, I joined my dad on the farm where he had 600 hectares of ground. Today we've increased that to close to 10,000 hectares. All adjoining, each farm's adjoining, all in one block. I've got my grandson with me, and I've got a nephew that's farming with us as well, which is very good to have somebody to have continuity. I'm third generation and they are fourth generation, and just hope the farm will go from strength to strength and providing food for the country. Our farming is known as precision farming. We've got the latest technique in all the methods of farming. Drivers driving, they've got a screen in front of them and they can see exactly where the seeds are falling, the fertilization, how it's coming out. It's not mechanically anymore. What we're producing today is all professionally done. We do mainly our potato crop exporting to Mozambique, and the other crops all go locally. We've got a feeding lot which we feed cattle. We built many dams. We farm a lot under irrigation. Our main crops are underwater, and we're looking to produce 3-4 times as much as under dry land. Drought is a major challenge that we're up against. Our potato crop, which is very expensive to grow, that's all done underwater, under irrigation. And many crops are dry land and irrigation. We've got a lot of challenges, and there's always something that's against the crops. I'm sure there's better investments, but when you get a good crop, there's no better investments. Well, we've got to be organised. Our staff is also third and fourth generation. We've got a school on the farm running just over 400 kids. Give them breakfast and we bus them in and they go to school, and the results have been pretty good. We give a lot towards it, and we find that they love what they're doing. It's just not work towards them, they feel it as well. They know we have a good crop, they have a good crop, and we work very well together.
Fred Kaddish, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello everybody, I'm truly overwhelmed with emotion. I would like to thank Absa Jewish Achievers for this most prestigious award. I've so enjoyed the whole build up to this evening, and winning is the cherry on the top. Tonight I'm accepting this award not just for myself, but for my late dad Lazar Kaddish and my brother Max. Together we built up Freemax Farms. I'm still the boss, and I can now hand over to the children and grandchildren to keep this legacy alive. As far as I'm concerned, we are all winners here tonight. As Jews, we stand together for the betterment and the upliftment of our beautiful South Africa. Nkosi Sikelela Africa. Thank you again for this honor. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, here to present the Absa Business Leadership Award, please welcome back to the stage, Faisal Mkhize.
I'm Brian Cantle. I work with Investec. I am chairman of the Investec Wealth and Investment International Research Institute.
I'm Mark Loon, the co-founder and principal of Kairos School of Inquiry.
I'm Philip Smith, the Chief Operating Officer of Supergroup.
I'm Romy Waters. I'm the fund executive of the Gesher Small Business Relief Fund.
My name is Robert Leon. I'm Joint Head of Investment Banking at RMB.
I'm Grace Harding, and I'm the CEO of the Ocean Basket Group.
I'm Professor Bernardo Rappaport. I'm a medical oncologist at the Medical Oncology Center of Rosebank.
Hi, I'm Dina Simmons-Gulen. I'm an orthopedic surgeon.
My name is Hanan Bushkin. I'm a psychologist and the head of the Anxiety and Trauma Clinic.
I'm Geordie Sank, and I'm the director of Sanctuary Films.
And my name is Dennis Davis, and I'm the retired judge president of the Competition Appeal Court.
I'm Jill Snide. I'm the founding father of SRP Project Managers.
My name is Mark Oppenheimer. I'm an advocate at the Johannesburg Bar.
I'm Michael Rudnicki, a tax partner at Bowman's Law Firm.
I'm Natasha Berkowitz. I'm the epidemiologist at City Health at City of Cape Town.
My name is Professor Ryan Blumenthal. I'm a forensic pathologist at the University of Pretoria.
I'm Wayne Durman. I am Professor of Sport and Exercise Medicine at Stellenbosch University.
My name is Richard Hirsch. I'm in equity and derivative structuring and broking, and I work for Perisec Prime Brokers.
My name is Rodney Lentz. I'm a 30-year veteran of the commercial property industry. I'm a qualified attorney with a higher diploma in tax law. I'm currently employed by Cushman & Wakefield Broll as head of commercial property broking in the Gauteng area.
I'm Professor Roy Shies, and I'm an endocrinologist who's worked I've worked most of my life at the University of the Witwatersrand and Chris Hani Baragwanath Academic Hospital.
My name is Stephen Nathan. I'm the founder and former CEO of Tanix Investments.
I'm Tiffany Markman. I'm a copywriter, trainer and speaker. I've been on my own as a freelancer for 17 years.
My name's Gary Sudwitz. I'm a medical doctor at the microsurgery. I'm an interventional radiologist.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the Absa Business Leadership Awards goes to Rob Leon.
My name is Robert Leon. I'm Joint Head of Investment Banking at RMB. And RMB is the investment banking arm of the First Rand Group. We're the leading investment bank in South Africa. There's some great opposition out there, but we're really, really proud of what we do and our client set. And we've got clients across all of corporate South Africa, from some of the biggest entities out there to some of the smaller ones that are up and coming, but that are really looking to grow. I've had some unbelievable leaders, mentors, managers that have helped me grow throughout the organization. So I'm trying to carry on that mantra, and I'm really proud of the organization and the values that it instills on our leaders as well as our people. We focus from corporate side to infrastructure to property to resources, really throughout the country. So our goal is to say, how do we make a difference? How do we enhance our clients' businesses? How are we there in the good times, in the bad times, to give advice, to lend money? Sometimes we're taking ownership stakes. Our goal is really to go, what is the client experience that they need and how best for us to solve their problems. I try to run a decentralized system for myself. It's important that my team members are allowed to grow and to build and to make decisions on their own. I'm not a micromanager at heart. I really love empowering people, and I'm there to be additive, to help guide them, to be around when things are needed. That's certainly what's got the best out of me over many, many years. South Africa is always an interesting case study, and I think we're extremely resilient here. We're able to operate actually in spite of some of the challenges we've got, and sometimes I think that brings out the best in us. I'm 2 years into my current role. I think my goal is to make sure that we continue to grow, to build out our franchise, make sure that we're assisting the country in our development. I think there's a lot of opportunity for the private sector to be really, really leading in terms of helping build our infrastructure base back up, how to take this country forward, create jobs. There's effectively an onus on us to make sure we're good corporate citizens. I'm really focusing on that. I've got an unbelievable team. There's such great people around me. So it's really not just on me, it's on all of us. And I look forward to contributing in the years to come.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rob Leon.
Well, I'm a bit overwhelmed here. I didn't see this coming. It's one of those moments where at least I trusted my wife and put a few words together. I didn't realize they'd show such a long video, so I'll keep it brief. I'm sure there's more fun to be had than listening to me. Let me start by thanking Howie. You and your team and the whole Jewish Awards team, I think what you do here for the community is really special, and I think all of us are better off for you being here. Then to the judges, thanks for taking the time to spend with us, to get to know us, to figure out what makes us tick and unique. There are many successful and talented nominees here today, and I really, really can't see how I deserve to stand out in front of anyone here. But I really appreciate this. Then to Absa, my role at RMB doesn't usually allow me down this road. But I have to say thanks to your organization. Your support of this event, which does so much for the community, and the Jewish Report, is something that deserves special recognition. Hopefully the support continues for another 19 years. If not Howie, you've got my number. I just want to say thanks to my spectacular wife, over there, and 3 beautiful daughters. Shan, you're my rock, and I wouldn't survive without you. There are many ways I could try and justify why I'm here tonight, and to rationalize the opportunities that have come my way. The biggest reason for me is that my parents made a great call. They put my sister and I into the King David school system. Even though it is a real financial ask, but never underestimate the power of a great Jewish education and an even stronger Jewish network. I'm fortunate to be able to work at RMB with some unbelievably talented people. It's a dynamic place, a rich history, and it really got like an entrepreneurial energy and a passion for client service. Hopefully many of you can attest to that in the room. Sorry, Absa. It's incumbent on me in my role to continue to promote this in everything we do with our clients, employees, and broader stakeholders. Over the years, investment banks' value to society has at times been questioned, and rightfully so. We all know the challenges that we as a community and a country are required to confront. But I'm hopeful that the banks, along with the rest of the private sector, can help solve. We need to be deliberate in our actions and tackle the issues head on. I've just got back from some travels, and the only thing I'm sure about is that there are many countries and economies with headwinds too. What sets us apart is that South Africans are the most resilient people in the world. We thrive in adversity when no one else knows where to start. I have no doubt that the Jewish community will not only lead from the front, but as Howie mentioned yesterday, make an outsized contribution relative to the size of the community. Thanks again and enjoy the evening. Appreciate it.
Here to present the Absa Professional Excellence Award, please welcome Managing Executive, Private Wealth Banking, Armin Tyre.
Does this mic work? Okay, it does. It's terrific to be here. Thank you. And the award for the Absa Professional Excellence Award goes to Professor Wayne Derman.
The field of sport and exercise medicine is so diverse, but at its essence is getting people to perform at their best. It's a challenge and it's a balancing act that sometimes I get right and sometimes I don't. I was the Chief Medical Officer for Team South Africa for the Sydney 2000 Olympic Games and Chief Medical Officer for the Athens 2004 Olympic Games. I had applied to do the job for the next Olympic Games, which was Beijing. And when I got my letter of appointment, I was allocated to be the medical officer for the South African Paralympic team. And I learned a lot about myself as a human being, and the Paralympics became my passion. I then went on to do service at the International Paralympic Committee, heading up their research to try and make sport a safer endeavor for people with disabilities. I have never looked back. What the Paralympic work taught me is that ability and disability are part of a continuum, and each day we decide from a physical, mental, and spiritual and emotional perspective where we actually want to function. From an international perspective, I've been fortunate to be working on a number of the committees that has overseen the delivery of a safe Olympic Games in Tokyo. Perhaps one of the most interesting and really extraordinary situations that I have been part of is part of Caster Semenya's legal and medical defense team. That as an academic experience rates perhaps one of the highest that I've been fortunate to experience. This year has been an incredibly busy one on a national level. It has all been about the new specialty of sport and exercise medicine and starting to get the universities around South Africa geared up to have a registrar training program that really trains young doctors in this new exciting area of sport and exercise medicine.
Wayne Derman, ladies and gentlemen.
Very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very, very humbled and honored to be standing here this evening. A great vote of thanks to the judges and to the people who voted and to the organization for putting on this absolutely wonderful event. I would love to pay my gratitude to some people this evening, and this is a wonderful opportunity. First of all, to my parents for giving me the wonderful, privileged foundation that set me off on my career. My mother is with us this evening. My father, unfortunately, passed away this year, but he would be climbing nachas right now. Thank you, Mom and Dad. Then I'd like to thank my beautiful wife, who is also over there, for the love and friendship and all the support that you give me and put up with the amount of overworking that I do and the lot of travel that I do, and the big support of my family, my 4 children, Rain, Shannon, David, and Josh, my 12-year-old, whose job is to keep me young. So I thank them all. And from a professional point of view, I would like to really pay my gratitude to the people from a professional perspective who have really formed my professional career. So the first person I'd like to thank is my grandfather, Ted Mauberger, who, when I was 12 years old, he put a doctor's bag into my hands, and he said, "My boy, you will be a doctor." And in fact, he said to me, "You are going to be a psychiatrist, because we've got enough pathology in our family for a whole convention." I also would like to thank a man by the name of Elliot Wolf, who was my principal, who had the faith in me to encourage me to be a doctor, even though I was a straight C's student and not a very good academic at school. I would like to thank Professor Asher Dubb from Baragwanath Hospital, who was my mentor, who told me, "Wayne, take your passion, which was your sport and exercise, and combine it into your career, which was medicine, and you will be very successful." And I thank him for putting me on that path. And Professor Tim Noakes, who was my mentor for many, many years and was a pioneer in the field of sports science, and persevering and pushing forward in the new specialty of sport and exercise medicine. I've had my wonderful friend Martin Schwellnus, who's Professor of Sport and Exercise Medicine at Pretoria University, and I would like to thank him for sharing the journey with me. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, how are we? Are we all doing well? We're doing good, we're doing wonderful. Hello, hello. Mike, how are you? See, all these people I haven't seen so long. How are you? Are you well? Guys, I just had some nibbles from Dolores. They're amazing. They're wonderful. I'm on this blood new lifestyle, shitty little lifestyle plan. There's no starch. There's nothing except just no joy. So I had these lovely little things, and they're really lovely. And I got to tell you, there is a gentleman here today who is related to somebody I was at school with. And that made me I'm not going to embarrass you. I know we spoke before the show. I'm not going to embarrass you. But I had a wonderful experience many, many years ago in Standard 3. I've been a foodie all my life. And I don't know what it was like in the Jewish community, but in the Greek community, if I wanted to sleep over at a non-Greek person's home, I wasn't allowed because they were dangerous. That was it. I wanted to sleep at a non-Greek person's home. I couldn't. I could only sleep over at a Greek person's home. But this specific weekend was Nana Mushkuri at Sun City. Yes, Nana Mushkuri. And I got a chance to sleep over at Nathan Smith's home, who's related to the gentleman who's here today. And Nathan Smith, what an extraordinary... Nathan Smith had a lot of money. I didn't have a lot of money. So I so looked forward to this house because he had a big pool. We didn't have a pool. He had a trampoline. I didn't have a trampoline. He had roller skates. They didn't fit me, but he had roller skates. It was amazing. It was just joy. We spent the entire day Saturday swimming in the pool, jumping out of the pool. Then we played on the trampoline. Then I watched him roller skate. It was amazing. The whole day we were just swimming and doing all sorts. Do you mind? I'm going to pass that through to you, Mr. Muzzle, before I break those. It was amazing. But 12 o'clock, 12:15, 12:30, 1:45, 10 to 1, 5 to 1, 1:05, 1:15, 1:20, nothing. No food. Not even foil making an appearance. Not even a little something stuck in the crevice of a couch after movie night. Nothing. Nothing. And at 23 minutes past 2, Nathan Smith's mother comes out and says, "Come on, children, lunch is served." And I went, "Lunch!"
niggers. 2 of them. I didn't know I was being punished, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't know I was being punished. And from that day onwards, I now understand why in English there is no translation for bon appetit. No translation for bon appetit. So tonight I've made sure that we're going to eat like kings. Right, I'm in the way, aren't I? It's that thing that's happening now, isn't it? All right, our next category. Not yet. Don't do this at home.
During the past year, we lost a truly great South African. Stephen Blend was a remarkable individual, one of South Africa's greatest entrepreneurs. When Absa wanted an introduction to the South African Jewish community, they asked Stephen, who suggested that Absa sponsor the Jewish Achiever Awards. This thriving partnership between the Jewish Achiever Awards and Absa has lasted 19 years. And Absa today banks so many Jewish founded and led corporate businesses. Stephen was a judge of the Absa Jewish Achiever Awards for more than 20 years. Each judging session started with a full glass of whiskey to lubricate the selection of winners. He loved everything about these awards, the winners, the inspiration, the hope that these awards gave to the people of South Africa. But more than that, Stephen loved life. He loved being on his bicycle, he loved doing charity races, he loved people, and he loved his family, who meant absolutely everything to him. His greatest moments were with his children and his grandchildren. His memory is a blessing to all of us. Tonight we dedicate the Arts, Sports, Science and Culture Award to Stephen Blend. Here to announce the winner of this award is the love of Stephen's life, Zoe Blend.
We could have been so good together. We could have lived these days forever. But now who's gonna dance with me? Please stay.
Thank you. The winner of the Art, Sports, Science and Culture Award is Anthony Orolovitz. Well done.
One of the biggest contributions we've made to architecture is in the field of corporate head offices. I mean, it's been 25 years of constant pressure of having to be successful. So it's quite a tough market. There's no second place here. If you become second, you don't get to build a building. When I finished studying architecture, I worked at Standard Bank in the property division. I thought that a lot of my clients would give me work when I went into my own practice, but a lot of my clients saw me as a banker and not as an architect. So we won a competition at Melrose Arch. 3 architectural practices competed on one land parcel, and that was the first building that we won. It's of a substantial size. From there, I phoned my clients and I said, you know, we won this competition, can we get work from you? Norton Rose was a pivotal building for us. It changed the way that people perceive our practice. And at the same time, we were busy with AFGRI in Pretoria. So the primary buildings that we've done, say in Sandton, I suppose Norton Rose, and all the 6 buildings that are in that precinct, Bowmanville Fillen, the Marsh building, we did Alexander Falls, which is quite a pivotal building for us, which was then followed by Sasol. And probably one of my favorite buildings in Sandton in terms of our practice is 140 West Street. Those were all part of, I think it took almost 15 years to develop those 6 buildings out. Our buildings are spaces which enhance and generate culture for businesses. The efficiency ratios of our buildings are sometimes 95% efficient in terms of common areas to usable area. We've thought ahead about what happens if they have to downsize and can they sublet? And it's interesting to see some of these buildings now, say 10 or 20 years old, actually living up to the intent in terms of how we designed them. About 5 or 6 years ago, we realized that we were becoming quite pigeonholed as architects who only did head offices and people who only did large buildings. So we've gone out of our way to start looking at a diverse range of work. So we're now doing schools, we're doing student housing, we're doing blocks of flats, we're doing industrial warehouses, but bringing the same kind of concern that we had around design and innovating those typologies that we did previously. We're looking all the time to find the edge around how we design and how that manifests back into our buildings. There's much more to our buildings. It's about also what the quality of the space is like inside. Our buildings are designed to be efficient. You're always working with young people. You are using cutting-edge technology, 3D printing, augmented realities, in terms of the way we visualize the buildings that we're making. The beauty about architecture is that I suppose it's a vocation. You can be a better architect when you're 40 and even better architect when you're 45. And I think I look forward to seeing what kind of architect I can be in my 70s. And I think that's the beauty about architecture as a profession. It can sustain you through your whole life.
Ladies and gentlemen, Anthony Rolowitz.
Everybody, thank you very much. It's fantastic to be here this evening. I'd like to thank the Jewish Report for all the work that they do in keeping us connected as a community. Absa for their consistent sponsorship of this amazing event, and Howard and his team for the amazing work that they do in making this evening happen. I'd first like to thank my family, my wife Zahava, my children Saul and Josh and Luke, for all the unwavering support for all these years and putting up with all my late nights and weekends at work. This being said, my children have been, I might say, some of my harshest critics. Once when traveling down Glenhove, they asked me if a certain building was designed by me. When I responded that I was the architect, there was silence in the car. And then from the back I hear one of my children saying, "Well, you know, Dad, that's not one of your best." To my directors and colleagues at Paragon Architects and our associated companies, it's been a wonderful 25 years of learning and growing together. To my partners at Alchemy Properties, to Stefan Schneier, Gregory Sachs, David Frankel, it's been a privilege to grow a property portfolio together. It's been 15 years, and we started off renovating toilets and lobbies, and we've ended up developing buildings like the Sassel building in Sandton. When looking at our body of work, it's very satisfying to see buildings across the skyline of Johannesburg that we have created. However, what is more satisfying is knowing that all the thousands of people who have contributed to their realization are part of the overall community. We have developed relationships with other professionals, contractors, subcontractors, and their staff, which span for more than 20 years. Together, we have become a skilled community, learning from each other and growing our skill and expertise. In terms of buildings, a building is not just about its form and its aesthetic. The physical space is designed to enhance how organizations function, how culture is manifested, and to help organizations thrive. Architecture is an art form designed by few, but is brought to reality by many. COVID has brought many challenges to our industry, but those challenges release a myriad of opportunities. Ironically, due to COVID, we have had to re-strategize how to create spaces to entice people back to work. With the need for commercial buildings having waned, other avenues have opened up. So we must find new typologies to explore, and at 57, this is an exciting prospect. South Africa has many challenges. Today, the news is in itself referential and self-fulfilling. Coupled with the realities of our everyday lives, we should not forget to celebrate the many wonderful things we are doing and making as a nation. That is why evenings like tonight need to be acknowledged and celebrated. We need to tell an alternative narrative about this country, one which does not sugarcoat our current situation, but one which can coexist with it. A narrative which looks at the positives, celebrating the exceptional, and gives us a cause to look towards a brighter future. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Anthony. Thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, in Greek, we also have a version of the word eish, but we have it in Greek. And the Greek version of eish is opa. Opa. We use it the same way we use eish. So, for example, you see someone beautiful, you go, opa. You accidentally bump into someone and you go, opa. You catch your wife in bed with your best friend, opa. So, ladies and gentlemen, opa! Opa! Πάμε, παιδιά! Όπα! Όπα! Έκαψα το χθες, νύχτες μου παλιές. Θρύψαλα οι αναμνήσεις, έγιναν κι αυτές. Λύπες και φωνές, άδικες ευχές. Μοιάζουσαν βουβή ταινία. Έκαψα το χθες, νύχτες μου παλιές. Όνειρα και εφιάλτες, λίγο στις φωτιές. Δάκρυα καυτά, ψέματα πολλά. Yeah, I'm gonna need your help for the chorus. Are you ready? Βάζω μια φωτιά, hey! Σ' όλα τα παλιά, hey! Όλα θα τα αλλάξω και θα το φωνάξω. Περασμένα, ξεχασμένα κι όλα την αρχή ξανά. Βάζω μια φωτιά, hey! Σ' όλα τα παλιά, hey! Όλα θα τα αλλάξω και θα το φωνάξω. Περασμένα, ξεχασμένα κι όλα την αρχή ξανά. Βάζω μια φωτιά, hey! Σ' όλα τα παλιά, hey! Όλα θα τα αλλάξω και θα το φωνάξω. Περασμένα, ξεχασμένα κι όλα την αρχή ξανά. Βάζω μια φωτιά, hey! Σ' όλα τα παλιά, hey! Όλα θα τα αλλάξω και θα το φωνάξω. Περασμένα, ξεχασμένα κι όλα την αρχή ξανά. Όπα! That's how we party Greek style. Okay. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our next category, the Europe Car Women in Leadership Award. Please welcome CEO, Motors Car Rental, Martin Lydell.
At Europe Car, we believe that a little further goes a long way. Whether it's greeting you with a warm cup of coffee after a long flight or brightening your day with a pack of our signature mints, we pride ourselves in going that extra mile to make our customers feel just a bit more special. Our state-of-the-art fleet and 3-step booking system makes it easy to book everything from chauffeur drives and airport transfers to van and car rentals. It's no surprise then that through our extensive footprint and commitment to exceptional customer service, we've been awarded the title of Africa's leading car hire company at the World Travel Awards for many years in a row. So, whether you're renting a runaround or executive vehicle for your next business trip, a 4x4 to just get away from it all, or a versatile SUV for the holidays, you can trust our range of quality vehicles. Europe Car, moving your way.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure and privilege to introduce the Europe Car Women in Leadership Awards to you this evening. Over the last 2 years, the Jewish Achiever Awards were presented in virtual format. The team at the Jewish Report did an incredible job of maintaining the prestige and professionalism of the awards and allowed the show to go on despite the challenges. It is, however, so special to be able to attend the awards together tonight and to be able to recognize our winners in person and celebrate their achievements together. The theme of Back to Life could not be more fitting. Europcar has proudly sponsored the Europcar Women in Leadership Award for 8 consecutive years. We'd like to thank the Jewish Report for your continued partnership. We are very proud of our association with you. I would also like to extend my heartfelt thanks to the panel of judges, Dawn Nathan-Jones, Dorian Wheel, Joanna Machalame, and Taryn Marcus, who have generously given of their time, insights, experience, and expertise since the inception of the award. We have been privileged to be exposed to and learn more about an incredible set of individuals over the past 8 years, and this year was no different. We were presented with a phenomenal list of nominees. What the candidates have achieved is exceptional, and we are very pleased that the award provided a platform to highlight the significant roles and achievements of the nominees. We sincerely thank them for sharing their inspirational stories with us so warmly and openly. The nominees have achieved remarkably in various fields, ranging from business, entrepreneurship, education, health, religious teaching, law, arts, political advocacy, and social responsibility initiatives. It is humbling and awe-inspiring to learn more about your exceptional achievements and the positive impact you have made and continue to make in your respective fields over years and decades. These achievements are even more remarkable considering how you have balanced your work, family, and faith. We always leave the day of the interviews impressed, inspired, and full of hope. The Europcar Women in Leadership Award was created to highlight and celebrate the achievements of remarkable women in the community and to expose these achievements to a broader audience so that their stories will inspire and give hope to others, particularly women. The nominees are certainly inspirational. And having met you, it is impossible not to be optimistic about the future of South Africa. You have shown us how tenacity, perseverance, passion, moral fortitude, courage, empathy, and the ability to reinvent yourselves and continuously learn and grow pays enormous dividends in all aspects of life. We are honored to present you with the nominees for the Europcar Women in Leadership Awards for 2022.
I'm Anne Urok. I'm the Africa Partner of Relationship Audits and Management.
I'm Grace Harding, and I'm the CEO of the Ocean Basket Group.
Anne Bernstein. I'm the head of the Centre for Development and Enterprise, South Africa.
I'm Carol Steinberg. I'm an advocate at the Johannesburg Bar.
I'm Claudine Herman. I'm actually Claudine Ullman, that's my stage name, but for Mrs. South Africa, I'm Claudine Herman. I am a comedian.
I'm Karina Osendrava, and I'm the Chief Product Officer at Jewish Interactive.
I'm Dina Pittam. I'm a professional property practitioner at Jarvis Properties, Bedford View.
I'm Dr. Penny Bernstein. I'm a hematopathologist in Johannesburg.
My name is Gabriella Nechama Farber, and I am a Jewish activist of the South African people.
My name is Garit Cohen. I'm the Director of Ripples for Change.
I'm Gina Flash from Mensch, and we are a social justice Jewish community organization.
My name's Lauren Siegel. I'm the director of Trace, a heritage and design company.
My name is Linda Greenwall. I'm a dentist. I trained at Wits, and I set up Greenwall Dental and Associates, a specialist group practice in 1993 in London.
My name is Michelle Brown, and I founded Brown's PR.
I'm Nadine Hurwitz, and I'm the founder of Grip It Refuse Bags.
My name is Rabbi Julia Margolis. I am founder of Beit Luria.
I am Stephanie Wheel, and I am the CEO of Miss South Africa.
I'm Robin Kramer, founder of My Abbey, natural hair, skin and body range.
Martin Lytle.
And the winner of the Europcar Women in Leadership Award is Carol Steinberg.
Advocate Carol Steinberg has shone the light on tender irregularities at the Nugent Commission of Inquiry.
Advocate Carol Steinberg.
Carol Steinberg.
I'm Carol Steinberg, and I'm an advocate at the South African Bar.
She simply is not fit to be a board member.
I specialize in constitutional public human rights law, at the moment particularly in freedom of expression cases and corruption, anti-corruption work.
Ministerial approval was
granted for the trip with no information regarding the purpose of the trip. When I joined the bar, it was a male-dominated profession in an extraordinary way. There were very few women at the bar. One of the missions that I've had, particularly as I've become more senior, is to change some of that culture. And I make sure that promising young women come into our group. I draw them into my cases, and instead of saying sink or swim, I try to work collectively with them. I'm concerned about the quality of the application, and I wanted to give you an opportunity to respond to that. In leadership positions like in the JSC, it's trying to create a fair process of selecting judges, people who might otherwise be overlooked, to make sure they get seen. Those who have no voice, you can be a very loud voice for them in the courtroom. You authorized the download of emails. I'm just not sure what you're saying about that. In 1994, I helped to establish the first Department of Arts and Culture in the democratic government. What playwriting and advocacy have in common is they're both about text and performance, and they're both about telling a compelling story. I love words and I love language, and I love working with words to persuade.
What the defendant did was to say it was not an anti-Semitic comment. It referred to the Zionists and therefore to the politics of the people involved, and he was for that reason not guilty of hate speech. In the circumstances of the case, the court held that although the defendant maligned the Zionists, it really meant the Jews. That, I think, was the most important point, and I must tell you that although I also made the point, the one who made it most forcefully was my co-counsel, Carol Steinberg, who is a Jewish woman and who spoke passionately. She had a speaking turn of 7 minutes. She spoke passionately for 37 minutes and engaged, and I think turned the court on that issue.
When I stood up in the Constitutional Court, somewhere I had mentioned that in one of the marches where offensive language was used, there was a swastika. And one of the judges interrupted me and said, "Are you going to explain why the swastika is a symbol of hate? You've just assumed it is." I realized at that moment that I had assumed that the judges would know about the Holocaust. But I was wrong. And I just threw away my prepared notes. And I spoke about what happened. The day the judgment was coming out, I was sitting on Spielkes. And just terrified of losing and the implications of what it would mean. And the email arrived, and I flipped the end, and I saw that we'd won. And then I did a quick read through, and when I got to the last paragraphs and the last sentence of the judgment, I burst into tears. Because the last sentence of the judgment, written by the judge who had asked to explain the significance of the swastika. The last sentence says, "It would be apt to end with some words from the Torah. Life and death are in the tongue." And that is something she had gone out and found.
You can't moan from the sidelines. Put on your armor and try and do what's right. And you always find allies who also want to do what's right. I always remind myself about Nazi Germany, because all it took was for ordinary people just to be silent. Justice should be seen. That is back to life. It really is. Open public justice, human beings debating, talking, the public seeing. That's what justice should be. When you came back and looked at what had happened, had these cases been furthered in the year and 3 months since you had last been there, you can always hone your skills, both your legal skills and your advocacy skills. The wonderful thing about working in South Africa is there is a never-ending supply of meaningful work to do.
Ladies and gentlemen, Advocate Carol Steinberg.
Thank you. There's nothing as meaningful and gratifying as being honored and recognized by one's own. So thank you. This means so much. That day in the Constitutional Court, I looked at these two huge rows of lawyers waiting for their turn. And I turned to Michael Katz, who was my instructing attorney, and I said to him, do you know that we are the only two Jews in this whole massive group of lawyers? If we hadn't been here today, there wouldn't have been a Jewish voice at all in a case about anti-Semitic hate speech. And Michael said to me, if not us, then who? And looking at the nominees, the extraordinary nominees here tonight, that's what I think. This is a group of people who say, apropos South Africa, if not us, then who? People who are role models and heroes and have stood up at the right time to do the right thing. And that's an amazing thing about this community, this very powerful and very vulnerable community. I want to thank Eurocard and Absa and Jewish Report, Howard and Peter and Kim. And then I want to, being a mother and an advocate is not an easy combination at all. And I wouldn't have managed without the amazing support of my husband, Neil, and my daughter, Ella. They supported me all the way, and they believed in me far more than I believed in myself. And they gave me the strength and the courage to do the work I do. And a final thanks is to my professional mentor, who you saw earlier, Wim Trengove, who I think has taught me most of what I know about advocacy. And thank you to you all. I'm really very, very honored. Thank you.
Advocate Carol Steinberg, ladies and gentlemen. Carol, advocate. Thank you, Advocate. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so it's that time of the evening, again, when something interesting is going to happen with from the ceiling. Is this... Can I touch it? I mean, that sounds terrible, but is it secure? So apparently there is a new trend globally, but it's here in South Africa, and it's... I got a phone call from my gym, and they said, Harry, would you be interested? It's now called aerial yoga. Aerial yoga, ladies and gentlemen, because of course we've mastered yoga on the ground. So now let's go up in the air. Round of applause for Vaughan and Marco. Yep, that's aerial yoga. That's it. Have the envelope. The envelope, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Okay. So, I want to introduce the Bertie Lubner Humanitarian Award. And here to present this, the last time I saw this gentleman, Mark Lubner, where are you? The last time I saw you, Mark, we were on a bicycle. Mark, where are you? Come to me immediately and hug me. Where are you, Mark? Mark Lubner? Ah, Marky, how's it? How's it, boyki? Hello. The only other place where you hear how's it, boyki, is when you arrive in Plettenberg Bay. That's the dolphins going, how's it, boyki? Welcome. Sorry, we had a little moment there. Okay, as you were. You want to face on this side?
Yeah.
You can face it whichever side you want.
Because my mom.
There's a mic here as well if you prefer. Here, do you want to hand that?
Thank you. Thanks so much. To give, to love, to live. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, Chief Rabbi, honored guests. The words to give, to love, to live are inscribed on my late dad's tombstone, because this is the way he chose to live his life. This is the legacy that he left for us all. He also taught us that giving goes on forever. And so I honestly believe that my dad is very much with us today. I know that he's with me each and every single day in the acts of kindness that I see his life typically contributed towards. So when Dorrie phoned me and asked whether we would be prepared to take sponsorship of this most prestigious award, it was a no-brainer. We felt enormously, Howie, to Dorrie, honored to be able to, in fact, sponsor this award. My siblings and I, and in terms of my siblings, I include Arnold Foreman, who's with us tonight, very much part of my family, came up with a concept called responsible kindness. And responsible kindness, if you think about it for a second, means you've got to be kind. You've got to wake up each and every single day. In driving acts of service, one has to be kind, but you've got to do it with a sense of responsibility. It's not about creating further dependency. And there's an incredible irony of living in South Africa at the moment, because we have an opportunity, each and every one of us individually, to do something, to be responsibly kind. We've got to stop waiting for others to do it for us. There are remarkable people. I see Herman Mashaba is here with us tonight, who have stood up to do things for this country. It's up to each and every one of us, and our participation in an award like tonight is in fact part and parcel of committing ourselves to a call of action to do something. So on behalf of my mom, who's here with us tonight, my partner Nikki, and my siblings, I'd like to say thank you so much for enabling us to honor a remarkable organization and a remarkable individual who is the recipient of the Bertie Lubner Humanitarian Award in honor of the late Chief Rabbi Harris. The winner of this award is Reach for a Dream, Mervyn Sarabo.
The loss of a child results in scarring that is permanent. It's not something that improves with time. You find a place for it in your head and your heart. I lost my first child to cot death. I remember having a conversation with God and saying, I don't understand this, but I implore of you, I've paid my dues. And in the naivety that is so typical of human beings and human behavior, I presumed that the rest of my journey would be less traumatic. My eldest son, Darren, at the age of 21, was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia. He was the most beautiful, competent, sensitive human being. He spent 16 months in hospital. I spent almost every night in the chair beside him in the cubicle. And Darren died 24 months after being diagnosed. What was obvious to me was that South Africa needed a bone marrow registry. I began a journey which took me to hundreds of towns and many cities around the country. And we have a registry today. One evening, a gentleman came out of the audience and he said to me, "My name is Brian Miller. I love what I'm hearing. Can I help you?" And that was the beginning of my journey at Reach for a Dream. And last year, we were voted South Africa's premier NGO. We fulfill in the order of 6 dreams per day, and we have never, ever not fulfilled a dream. I am passionately driven to try to ensure that every child who is experiencing a life-threatening situation has the opportunity and privilege of meeting our team and requesting the unimaginable and having us make that happen for them. I've seen miracles occur. Children who even families had given up on. Not given up on because they don't love them, but realized that they needed to allow them to go. And in some cases, these children have rallied, have recovered, and we have become an integral part of their journeys. And there is nothing more rewarding than the sense of helping a family to believe that there is indeed possibility of recovery and that instilling hope in a child is an integral component of healing. I remember one young man in particular who had been in hospital, who had lost the ability to walk. His dream was to go to Disney, and he went to Disney. He began to walk very slowly with interventive support, of course. He is now fully recovered. We had a child who was on morphine 4-hourly and who really wanted to meet Lewis Hamilton. We managed to engineer the dream. Lewis came up to this young man before the race began, and he said to him, "My boy, I'm going to win this for you." And he did. And he walked over to this young man and he put the cup in his hands, and they put the wheelchair on the podium so that before Lewis Hamilton picked up the cup, the trophy, this child had the privilege of experiencing the euphoria. He died months later. This special, special place has been an integral part of my personal healing. I read a quote some years ago, and it goes as follows: "Grief never ends, but it changes. It's a passage, not a place to stay. Grief is not a sign of weakness, nor a lack of faith. It is the price of love."
Mervyn Cerebro, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, before I even begin, I have a very special lady at our table. And her name is Julia, and she is the Chief Executive of Reach for a Dream. And I had the privilege of interviewing her, employing her about 16 and a half years ago. And she is the most truly exceptional, remarkable person. Julia, I absolutely love and adore you. Thank you. Thank you for being who you are. Chief Rabbi, Dr. Warren Goldstein, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen. I am truly, deeply, deeply humbled to be awarded the Bertie Lubner Humanitarian Award. And I will cherish this moment for the rest of my life. We do the things that we do because they're fulfilling and they're enriching, and because it gives us such a sense of place. But to be acknowledged here this evening by our own community is truly the most indescribable moment in my own journey, and thank you for that. Hillary, the Lubner family is an anchor and in many, many ways the fulcrum of our community. I knew Bertie personally, and his passion and generosity of spirit honestly knew no bounds. Not only within our community, but universally. He was somehow embroiled in causes across the world, things that mattered to him, people that he was concerned about, and there was this aura of goodness, Menschkeit, that was just a part of him. Mark, I have to tell you, is cut from the same cloth, and he continues to enrich lives. Ladies and gentlemen, none of us know what awaits us. And when we start out, we have these dreams of a life with a home and a family and a picket fence and a dog in the garden, and fortunately, we don't know what awaits us. Because if we did, we'd never cope. The late Rabbi, Lord Jonathan Sacks of blessed memory, made the point that today's politics are so focused on personal interests that mankind is losing out on the things that make people feel a part of something that is bigger than themselves. After what we had experienced as a family, I was determined and driven to help people in pain and to assist in instilling a sense of hope and a belief in recovery. Thank you. I was driven by a need to enrich lives, and in so doing, to facilitate my own healing. We ultimately have choices and can allow ourselves to become immobilized by a sense of hopelessness, or to somehow draw on our inner strength and to provide support to those who are sadly traveling the road that we've already traveled. Darren, my precious, vibrant and beautiful son, I think of you every day, and you were taken from us in the spring of your season. I sense your presence this evening, and I know that you would be so proud of what we continue to do in your memory. My darling wife, Sue, thank you for being my rock, for loving me as you do, for enabling me to continue to do the work that truly feeds my soul. My darling children, two of whom are here this evening, and I have a daughter in Melbourne. I love you indescribably. I think of you all the time. I pray for you every day. And I want you to know how precious you are to me. Howard Sackstein. You truly are a larger-than-life, remarkable human being. You truly are. I watched you through that entire period of isolation that COVID imposed upon all of us. And you were somehow the glue within our community. You managed to continue to keep us motivated, to help us to understand that this too would pass. The webinars were informative, many of them related to the isolation and how we should find ways of coping with that dreadful period of our lives. Sue and I were recently in Australia, Howard, and people speak of you there as they do all over the world. You are the most special human being that we're privileged to have in this community. May you be blessed, may you be well, and may you continue to do the incredible work that you do. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so honored and privileged. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Mervyn Cerebro, ladies and gentlemen.
Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? Caught in a landslide, no escape from reality. Open your eyes, look up to those skies and see. I'm just a poor boy, I need no sympathy, 'cause I'm easy come, easy go, a little high, a little low. Anyway the wind blows doesn't really matter to me. sorry, what's the next line? Galileo! Oh, right. Sorry. Galileo Figaro, Magnifico! No, Mamma mia, blah, blah, blah. Beelzebub has a devil put aside for me. Anyway, the wind blows doesn't really matter to me. Nothing really matters. Anyone can see. Nothing really matters. Nothing really matters. Nothing really matters. Nothing really matters to me. Anyway, the wind blows.
Let's hear it for our dancers choreographed by your very own magnificent Debbie Rakuzen. Woohoo! And here to present the Entrepreneur Award, please welcome Dina Diamond, Director, SA Jewish Report. Please take a look at the nominee video as Dina makes her way to the stage.
I'm Renette Garba.
And I'm Ariel Garba.
And we're the owners and founders of 2.0 Strength and Fitness.
I'm Grant Friedman.
I'm Justin Blend.
I'm Greg Blend. And we are from Africrest Properties.
I'm Nicholas Ingle, founder and CEO of Emmet Germs.
I'm Joanne Sivan, founder and director of Flavor Pro.
I'm Nadine Hurwitz, and I'm the founder of Grip It Refuse Bags.
I'm Sebastian Cohen. I'm co-founder and chief executive of Growwise Capital.
I'm Jonathan Blackburn, the owner and founder of the IMED Medical Group.
My name is Jonathan Ayash, and I'm the CEO of Lyft.
I'm Jerry Davidson. I'm the founder and director of Mobile Tempra.
I'm Stephen Schultz, and I'm the chief executive of Momentum Securities.
I'm Robin Kramer, founder and director of My Abbey Abyssinian.
I'm Nadine Hochter. I'm the owner of Shearplus.
I'm Josh Kaplan.
And I'm Greg Smith, and we co-founders and co-CEOs of One Spark Insurance.
I'm Matthew Elon Smith, co-founder of Pineapple Insurance.
I'm Neil Meyerowitz. I'm the founder and CEO of Plush Car Wash.
I'm Darren Meltz, events director of Secret Eats.
I'm Shalia Katzif, founder and co-owner of Shalicious Nails.
My name is Nevin Sher. I'm the founder and CEO of Nevin Sher, the Diamond Guy.
I'm Myron Crost. I am the CEO of Canna Trade Africa and the founder of The Green Side.
I'm Neela Milner, owner and founder of YGS.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So I guess you can see we had really stiff competition this year in the entrepreneur category. It's my great honor to be here to award the Entrepreneur 2022. Not every single person was born to be an entrepreneur. It takes guts, determination, passion, a lot of hard work, a little bit of success, a little bit of risk. All of those factors were considered when making our decision. Tonight, the winner is Justin Blend, Grant Friedman, and Greg Blend.
It started 17 years ago, walking around Braamfontein as a student. We realized that the area was ripe for rejuvenation. We started buying dilapidated office buildings in the area and converting them to A-grade office buildings. From there, we moved over to the northern suburbs. We started realizing the opportunity of converting office buildings into apartments. Because we started off in Braamfontein, we were able to take the knowledge of what was happening in Braamfontein with our experience of office buildings in northern suburbs and mix those two to start converting buildings in the northern suburbs where no one else was really doing that. We had a tenant that had left us prematurely and we never knew what to do with the building, and we thought, let's convert it to apartments and see how it goes. We started advertising the building online for rent once we had completed it, and we asked the lady in the office how many phone calls. She said to Greg, I've received 15 calls. And I remember sitting there and thinking, 15 calls in the first 2-3 hours, that's unbelievable. And she said, no, not 15, 50. Wow, we knew it like electricity has struck, and if you're getting 50 calls in 2 hours for that building in Randburg, this is the future.
And since that call, we've bought up
approximately 130,000 square meters of offices and converted it to that roughly 3,000 apartments. Our flagship development is the conversion of the old PwC head office in Sunnyhill into 700 apartments.
We've been working on the PwC building for many years, but the building was always too expensive. You know, when others were scared and worried about what was going to happen, it was a bit of a gutsy move, but it's paid off for us as well.
We're trying to provide our tenants with an incredible experience, and if you have a large estate with 700 apartments, the cost to provide them a work-from-home facility, an unbelievable gym, soccer courts, swimming pools, it's what they want, and you've got to give your customers what they want.
So with all the data we have from all our tenants, everything's survey driven. What do you want, more, a larger gym or larger work from home, or this or that? Every decision we make now is based on feedback we're getting from tenants.
Our staff have recently taken hotel training because we want to run our estates like hotels. We want our tenants to feel that they're checking into somewhere that's 5-star.
We are also getting into social housing, which is a much more affordable version of what we're doing at the moment. It's rent controlled and really helps very low earning people in society to rent beautiful, dignified homes.
We work incredibly hard, we're incredibly hungry, but I think it's the right formula.
Justin Blend, Grant Friedman, and Greg Blend, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, everyone. Wow. I've written down a speech, but this is so incredibly meaningful to me because 17 years ago, I attended these awards for the very first time. I was 22 years old. I had just started out in business, and my late father, who was a judge of these awards, brought me along as his +1. I sat there that night. I was totally in awe of all of the nominees and the winners. I was enamored. It was unbelievable. And that night, I made myself a promise, right there and then, that I'd give everything I had to create a great business that was one day worthy of winning a Jewish Achievers Award. Never missing a single Jewish Achievers event, I continue to make that promise to myself every single year for the next 16 years. And tonight, my 17th year in attendance, that dream has become true. 17 years. Wow. I just wish my father could have been here to see this moment. When I think how we have built this business, I realize how crucially important one community is and the people you surround yourself with, as they'll push you in the directions that will ultimately result in the life you live. With this in mind, I realize how lucky I am to be part of this incredible community, and I must thank Howie and the Jewish Report for spearheading an event like this, which gives young people the motivation to do something awesome, just as it did for me. To my mother Zoe, who pushed my brothers and myself to be the best we could be. Mom, you've been the greatest influence in my life. Thank you. To my business partners, Grant, Greg, and Nick at Sappers, to come to work every day and sit next to you guys is one of the greatest joys in my life. You're my brothers in arms, and going into battle with you guys by my side is an honor. Andrew Cantor and his team at Future Growth for always supporting us and having faith in us. My wife Jenna, not only are we building a family together, but with your significant role in the company, we also get to build a business together. I'm so lucky to have you in my life. Thank you for your unwavering support and encouragement. When I was 21, I came home from a holiday, having just read the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I remember it was a beautiful summer's evening, and I was sitting on the balcony telling my dad that my goal from the book's teachings was that I was going to try and purchase one apartment. He smiled and replied, "That's great, Justin, but why not dare to do something grander?" Dad, thank you for showing me how to dream.
Thank you to Absa, the amazing Howie Sackstein, and the Jewish Report for this incredible honor and the beautiful tribute to our father Stephen. I'm so proud of his legacy, and this event is a big part of that. My dad's greatest strength was his impeccable reputation. He taught us that your reputation is the one thing in life, or one of the few things in life, should I say, that you can control. We try our best to emulate him every day and to one day leave a lasting legacy like he has. Last year, we declined the nomination for this award, as we did not yet feel ready to be considered among such a disproportionately talented community. And we believed my father would have more time with us. So, here we are this year, without my father here, having learned a very valuable lesson. Never put off celebrating an achievement or a milestone with your loved ones, making the celebratory theme tonight feel very appropriate. My advice to any aspiring entrepreneurs watching tonight is to do your best to find partners who you trust your life with, who are skilled where you are weak, who share the same goals and values, and that you can have the absolute best time with. I feel blessed as I get to grow my business with my brother and my best friend. Thank you to you both, and thank you to our Greek Achiever partner, Nick Katsapis, for the trust that you put in us. Thank you to the entire AfriCrest team, especially US Engelbrecht, for your passion and leadership. A big thank you to our inspirational and extremely supportive mother, Zoe, and my beautiful, kind, and supportive wife, Gabby.
As Justin mentioned, there's another partner of AfriCrest, Nick Katsapis. Now this presented a bit of an issue. Howie called us, and he said, guys, we can't have Nick Katsapis win the Jewish Achiever Awards. I said, Howie, you must be confused. This is Nick Kahanovitz. The problem with trying to convince Howie that Nick was Jewish is he's 6'4". At almost 50, he's got a six-pack and a full head of hair. I think that in itself would have been a Jewish achievement. As my wife would say, Grant, it's enough of the jokes. Jen, thank you for the endless love, the endless patience. Dad, thank you for the endless support. Greg and Justin have thanked everyone who have helped us get to where we are today, but the truth is, none of this would be possible without the two of you. Just, you drive me mad every single day. But I love it, and I love you. Greg, you drive me crazy probably like once a week, and I love you even more. I'm proud of what we built, and I know we will continue to build AfriCrest into something that we, our family, friends, and this community could be very proud of. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Greg Blend is also wearing the tightest trousers worn by a male here tonight. Here to present the Man-Made Community Award, please welcome Shane and Mick Mann.
Good evening. Man-Made is thrilled to be associated with the Jewish community. Howard and Dina, thank you for the incredible work that you do. We're also super excited to be able to sponsor the Community Service Award. We started our business 22 years ago in the community. We've grown with the community. And I think all the nominees in this category literally make our lives better as South Africans. So without further ado, Mick, who is the winner?
And the winner of the Man-Made Community Service Award is Mark van Joorsveld and the CAP management team. Thanks for keeping us safe.
There's been a rise in violent crime.
Incidents of housebreaking, home robbery, assault, and murder.
Towards the end of 2005, beginning of 2006, crime had reached a disproportionate level of violence and frequency within a community called Glen Hazel. The community got together, led by the Chief Rabbi of South Africa, and that gave rise to the birth of CAP. Within the first few months, we drastically reduced the crime by about 90% in the early days.
All units, please be on the lookout for one suspected male.
And we started to see the same faces and the same people that were perpetrating robberies over and over and over again. And, that's where this concept of more brain, less brawn came from. We had to get smarter, we had to understand them better.
CAP's grown from really what was a patrol service to encompassing this massive area.
We have obviously the cars and the control room and all the things that people know, but we slowly moved into intelligence.
The whole idea of CAP now is to preempt crime, it's to be offensive and to take the fight to criminals rather than wait for criminals to come into our environment.
We've built the ability to really, focus on who the criminal is, why they're carrying out crime, and how to kind of take the fight to them. So almost bully the bully.
We have over 100 informants today that are giving us information of incidents that are about to take place or have taken place. That is what's happening every single day. Many people don't see it, don't understand that is what CAP is doing. It's not this cowboy mentality, that it's certainly not. We do it because we care and we do it quietly. We have a war room, and in that war room are all of the pictures of all of the criminals that we know. We had arrested over 200 people this year. It was purely through that targeted intelligence. The arsonist case is obviously sub judice, and very limited information can be provided at this stage. This individual had targeted the northern suburbs of Johannesburg for quite some time, over a period of over 2 years. We received information that he was roughly somewhere in the Hillbrow environment. We deployed our field tracing unit, which is a team of specialist undercover individuals who are trained in surveillance and all of those types of techniques. Located him and called the police and other role players that we'd been working with for a number of months, and when everyone was together and it was safe to do so, he was arrested. That is our vision. It's to unmask the enemy, to tell them that we are not afraid, and lead that charge. The most recent kidnapping case that comes to memory was Gary Bress that was kidnapped. We were able to free him within 6 hours, and we had to push ourselves as hard as we could and as much as we could to protect people. It's so ingrained in who we are as an organization, in who we are as people. There was information that was received about a cash and transit heist that was going to take place. We were able to corner the suspects in their safe house prior to leaving to go and commit the cash and transit heist. The rifles that were found on the cash and transit scene had lab numbers, and when the policing units that we work closely with, followed that up and processed that information, those firearms were from the Norwood SAPS store And that launched a further investigation by the Hawks, and there were a number of arrests, and that investigation is also still ongoing. We've developed a variety of relationships on a personal level and on a professional level with policing members and other law enforcement bodies at a local level, so at your station level, up to provincial and at a national level. And some of these members have become very close friends of ours. They've attended our weddings, they've been at the brisses of our children.
Mark is on the ground leading from the front, always, and he's a pioneer. He doesn't accept that something can't be done.
The care that Mark displays for our community, for the people around him, for the people that work for him, it's probably the most endearing quality that any leader can present.
This team at CAP and the people that I'm blessed to work with are just the most incredible people. Crime is not an issue, and I'm one of the very few people I think that feel that, because I actually understand it, and it's not inconquerable. It's not this big monster. In fact, we started CAP with the idea that we would drastically reduce it. Today, we believe we can win.
When CAP started out, it was one control room in a shared building. We now take up 4 floors of a building. We have a fleet of well over 100 vehicles. We employ over 700 people. And the magnitude of the thing is quite awesome. What we've managed to build as a team, it's one of the greatest accomplishments of my life.
Ultimately, what gives rise to us being different is that at our core purpose, we don't exist to drive or fight for revenue. You know, we exist to protect people. I think when you've seen the hurt, you know, and when you've seen people be murdered and what it does to, you know, children and families and the absolute trauma that it inflicts, I can say this safely, there's not a single person at CAP that doesn't want to do everything within their power to prevent that. We want a South Africa where every single person, irrespective of their ability to afford security, can feel free and can feel safe. Someone has to stand up and someone has to be counted so that everyone else can enjoy, not knowing about the evil that surrounds them. And I think that is what probably best encapsulates everyone at CAP.
Sure. Good evening, everybody. First time I've seen the video, so it's sure. Thank you so much. It's an absolute honor and a privilege for me to be a recipient of this award. There have been so many people involved in CAP and my journey that it would only be fair that I accept this award on behalf of all of those, past and present, who have contributed to building one of our community's greatest successes. To our founders, the Chief Rabbi, and our board of volunteer members, Benji Porter, Brad Sifris, Lawrence Brick, Saul and Colin Goldstein, who had the vision and perseverance 17 years ago to establish CAP. The community and I am indebted to you for the thousands of precious hours you have devoted to helping build CAP, mentoring me. We all know at CAP that none of this could have been done without your leadership and guidance. Thank you. To all the other volunteers and donors that helped establish CAP in each community, we thank you. To all my colleagues, friends, brothers and sisters in arms at CAP, irrespective of the role that you've played, whether it was in fundraising, stakeholder engagement, or in operations, you have all helped build an organization that we can be exceptionally proud of. It is you who are the true heroes of our story. It is hard to do justice to the immense sacrifice you all make, the extent to which you will all go to pursue justice, the risk this imposes on you personally and that of your families. We do it not for glory nor recognition. In fact, telling of our success brings with it even more risk. Yet we do all of this because we have seen what happens when evil prevails. We have heard the cries from mothers and fathers, daughters and sons, brothers and sisters at the loss of life at the hands of those who seek to harm our people. These are the visuals and sounds etched in our memory forever. It is in the honor of those who have lost their lives, those like Sheldon Cohen, Myrtle Kagan, Raymond Dafkind, Wilfred Schneid, Sean Lipschitz, William and Hilary Gissing, Gillian Hotz, to name just a few, that you wake up every morning driven by a purpose to ensure that it never happens again. You speak through action, and no thank you will ever be enough. To my wife, the last several years have not been easy, as the demands of my work increased substantially around the same time as we welcomed our beautiful children into this world. You have spent many a night alone while I have been on the ground. You have raised our children, held down a full-time job, completed your PhD, all the while I have been largely absent. You have never complained or bemoaned this. In fact, you have told people that someone has to do this work, and why shouldn't it be your husband? I am forever grateful for your support, your understanding, and the devotion and commitment to our family. To Absa, Howie, the Jewish Report Board, members of staff, and to Man-Made Media, this has been a truly special evening. Thank you for making this happen and for recognizing the excellence that exists within our community. In closing, when CAP started in 2006, we had a mission to drastically reduce violent crime. People told us then it was impossible, but yet today, violent crime across the communities we protect has generally seen a reduction at a sustained level of about 90% since CAP's inception. Now we have a new mission, one that does not entail us having to be defensive, waiting for criminals to enter our areas before we act. Criminals are not limited by geographical boundaries, so we are targeting them wherever they may be. We want to eradicate violent crime in Johannesburg. Some might think this is impossible too, but I'm telling you this evening that it will be achieved. With the support of our community, broader society, corporate South Africa, and working in partnership with authorities, we have begun to build the capacity and capability to achieve this. Now we are about to go on the offensive. To illustrate this, in the last 8 months, we have arrested 277 suspects, recovered 54 firearms, 17 signal jammers, 145 hijacked stolen motor vehicles used in the commission of crime, and seized 55 million rand in stolen assets through targeted, preemptive, and intelligence-driven operations as part of our new strategy. Our message to the community is simple. Do not be afraid. Do not let a few thousand criminals overwhelm and scare the millions of good and honest South Africans. Stand behind us to help achieve a city where violent crime does not exist. And may Hashem continue to bless us and keep us all safe. Thank you so much.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce the Kirsch Family Lifetime Achievement Award. To present virtually this award in honor of Helen Suzman, please welcome Wendy Fisher.
Good evening. I'm Wendy Fisher, and on behalf of the Kirsch family, I am delighted to join you tonight. I am just sorry it is remotely from New York. I personally feel enormously privileged to have been the recipient of the Absa Jewish Achiever Humanitarian Award myself. And I'm immensely proud that my father, Nati Kirsch, is a past recipient of the Lifetime Achiever Award in honor of Helen Suzman. Our whole family is still incredibly committed to our roots and our home in Southern Africa. Be it my parents growing up in Potchefstroom, our formative years in the hills of Swaziland, or the family trips we regularly take back home. The soul and spirit of Africa runs in our veins and overflows with Ubuntu and love for the people of this continent. We as a family are committed to the sustainable development of Africa and feel honored and proud to present the Kirsch Family Lifetime Achievement Award. Despite the very real day-to-day challenges faced locally, we have to appreciate that we are a resilient nation, born of suffering and yet still fighting each day to better the society around us. We honor those who have devoted their lives to the betterment of society, those who have gone beyond our wildest expectation and inspired us with their vision and leadership. 2 years ago, we presented this award to Sir Sidney Kentridge, the greatest legal mind of his generation, a man who represented both Nelson Mandela and the Biko families, a man who has left an indelible mark on the rule of law in South Africa. Last week, Sir Sidney turned 100. We wish him mazel tov to 120 and beyond. Last year, we honored Eric Ellerin, a man whose name and image looms large over the history of retail and business in South Africa. I have no doubt that this year's winner will inspire us, delight us, and encourage us to do more to build the future of South Africa. The winner of the Kirsch Family Lifetime Achievement Award in honor of Helen Suzman is... Wow! It is such an enormous joy for me that tonight's recipient is Helen Lieberman. Helen, you are my great friend. I met you almost 40 years ago when I first moved to Cape Town. You became my mentor, my hero, and a treasured friend. I can't think of anyone that deserves it more than you. Helen has dedicated her entire life to helping South Africa's most vulnerable and needy communities. I feel honored to know you and to have had the opportunity to work so closely with you. Helen, you are a true legend. It is a great privilege and joy for me to present this well-deserved award to you. There is no one more suitable. Mazal tov.
My first visit to the townships was sort of a seminal moment. I could not believe the situation that I found of the police brutality and the poverty of the people and the stench and the lack of housing and the police dogs. I actually stood there and thought, if this is the world I live in, I don't want to live anymore. And everybody dismissed what I'd said. So I started going into the townships every single day after work.
Here was Helen going into the townships in the darkest days of apartheid. Helen was beaten up by the apartheid police, nearly lost her eyesight in one eye. She could not stand by and simply see the devastation going on around her. She had to make a difference.
Helen is indefatigable. I mean, if she feels somebody needs something, she gets it for that person immediately.
And so for about 30 years, the organization was very much people organically becoming engaged in activities around looking after children and seniors and people with disabilities.
All of a sudden, Helen was building buildings, putting up accommodation, taking people who were hiding from the police and keeping them in her own home, bonding her own properties to finance the growth of other properties for homeless people, and just doing the amazing things that only Helen could do.
I had no idea the power of what we started one by one doing together would spread into this powerful, dedicated organization that has an ethos and an ethic.
Ikamva Labantu features a number of critical areas. We look at the young children, we look at the aged, We look at those who are lacking facilities. We try and help everybody.
We've built a few hundred schools throughout the country. We're very lucky that we have all these wonderful facilities that people can be brought to or come on their own to enjoy.
We grew the organization, it grew very substantial.
The whole secret of Ikamva is that we're there and we support those who get up and do something. Just understanding the dynamic in the townships is important.
She goes to the communities every single day to understand what the issues are. And are we doing the right thing? That is what keeps her going daily.
She's always believed in the community helping themselves, and charity not being basically, handing out to people, but empowering people.
It's ongoing of understanding needs, understanding hunger, understanding physical condition, and understanding that the people are there to do it. So all we do is create the right environment and the right skill within the community, and they get on with it. We allow communities to lead us to the point of where they need our intervention, and then our intervention is respectful. We are able to become participatory in a way that nobody feels threatened and everybody can't but give of their best.
That's the kind of vision that is required. It's a vision that she brings into the organization all the time.
We've had to try and keep up with Helen all the way because she leads by example. Our role is just to back her up. She seems to have this incredible amount of energy, which is simply spawned by her desire to help others.
It's just been an incredible journey to work with someone as visionary, as compassionate, and as challenging as Helen is.
I always refer to Helen as Saint Helen because, in my view, she's the closest we have to a Jewish saint.
It's about the other. It's about life for the other. I think that's one of the basic tenets of our Judaism. It's about our care for others and our action. And it's not about saying it, it's about doing it. It's just something that I wake up every morning and I want to be part of.
Helen Lieberman, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm a little speechless, and this doesn't often happen to me. I usually am able to take the floor and to say it as it is, and to tell people what to do, and to become a little bit on top of things. But tonight, I feel that the praise and award that is being given is a very humbling experience, because I think I'm grateful for it, and please don't think I'm not. But my experience is that we have not understood the wonder of our African people and the wonder of the people that I have worked with for 60 years. I've done so as a volunteer, and I've done so in the spirit of knowing that each day I get up, and I get up very early. I'm a 4-5 o'clock riser, because I know the people I'm holding hands with, the people I'm sharing our lives with are also getting up. And I need to be there early. And I need to hear what we need to do, how we need to do it, what is the best way, how we are able to. Because in many cases, because of the poverty and the history of our country, the real people of our country are still suffering and living in the most terrible way. And for the rest of my life, if I can, I will continue until I can see that every person has something in their lives that enables them to survive. And it's not happening, guys. It's not happening. So I'm not going to make a long speech. I'm saying here we are, enjoying the most sumptuous dinner with the most wonderful, wonderful enjoyment of so many beautiful things. I think we should leave here holding something tight to say, I'm going to do just one deed tomorrow that's going to lift somebody else's life that isn't within our community, that is out there. I'm going to give a child maybe a pair of school shoes. I'm going to find an extra lesson for a child that just with that little extra could pass their matric and could go on to further study. Or I'm going to look at an old person living in a piece of tin that served us as a domestic and scrubbed and cleaned and has remained with nothing because we don't pay our domestics what they deserve. And I'm not being judgmental. It's just that I carry it. I carry it every day. And I'm sorry, Rabbi, I don't pray, but as a Jewish woman, I live every day for what I've read in our teachings that we as Jews should do. And for me, that's my living as my Jewish life, and I'm hoping that my not so kind speech will allow you all to hold the torch with me in our future for South Africa. Thank you.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, for our final award of the evening, the Special and Extraordinary Award, please welcome back to the stage, Howard Sackstein.
Well, I suppose it's nearly midnight, and we know what happens at midnight. We used to turn into a pumpkin, and now apparently the lights go on again, the projectors go off, and we have another 10-minute break where we'll serve dessert. But until that happens, let's talk about a special and extraordinary award. Because it's not very often that the Jewish Report actually grants a special and extraordinary award. We do so to remarkable individuals, not necessarily part of our community, but remarkable individuals who've enriched all of our lives. We gave this award to Nelson Mandela. We gave this award to Archbishop Tutu. And just before COVID began, we gave this award to Maestro Benjamin Zander, conductor of the Boston Philharmonic, who came out to South Africa to conduct for us, to go into the townships, to go to the Morris Isaacson School and Orchestra and conduct for them, because he himself had enriched so many of our lives with art and music. So when it came to make a decision this year, should we grant a special and extraordinary award, we thought we had to do so. We're coming out of 2.5 years of darkness into light. We're coming back to life. And we want to acknowledge that moment and someone who has shown us the marvels of science and what can be achieved if humanity put their heads together, put their brains together against a common enemy, an enemy of disease. Let the victory over COVID be an example for all of us, for every disease that exists within humanity. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, tonight we grant a special and extraordinary award to an individual who's been the active ingredient allowing us to get back to life. The winner of the special and extraordinary award is the chairman and CEO of Pfizer internationally, Dr. Albert Bourla.
My mother, Sarah Bourla, always said to us, nothing is impossible. I can still vividly remember her wagging her finger and telling me, don't you tell me you can do it. Just go and do it.
The first case of novel coronavirus was reported in Wuhan, China. The World Health Organization declared the outbreak a public health emergency of international concern.
More cases should be expected in other parts of China and possibly other countries.
We've really come out of quite a deep and dark pandemic, but there's really been one very shining light, and that's the COVID vaccine story. And this is really one of the most spectacular achievements in biological engineering that we've experienced, I guess, in the history of medicine. Many scientists can take credit for this, and one of the foremost scientists in that field is Albert Bourla.
In addition to being very proud of my Jewish heritage, I'm equally proud of being Greek.
What existed in Thessaloniki was a very vibrant Sephardi community, one of the most vibrant in the world. It was called the Little Jerusalem. The entire community was exterminated in the Second World War. 4% only survived, among them my father and mother. My mother was pulled from a firing squad minutes before being killed, saved by a bribe to one of Hitler's generals. And my father and uncle happened to be outside of the neighborhood when the Nazis came to load the trains for Auschwitz.
Both of my parents turned their experience surviving the Holocaust into something positive and life-affirming. This clearly helped shape my worldview and ignited my desire to pursue a purpose-driven career that would benefit others.
Albert was determined to bring to bear all of Pfizer's capabilities to create a vaccine in record time.
What struck me was how high the stakes were, how visible the risk was, how big the investment was, and how fearless Albert was in taking that risk and demonstrating the confidence he had in his colleagues and the importance of the work to the world.
And Albert Bourla really needs to take an enormous amount of credit for steering that company.
This is the news that we've been waiting to hear. Pfizer and BioNTech reporting the first results from their phase 3 vaccine trial, saying that in this interim look, the vaccine showed to be more than 90% effective in preventing COVID-19 cases.
When I first heard the news, I thought I misheard. They told me 90 and I thought they told me 19. They said, no, 90. Then I said, but what is the efficacy? And then they told me 95.6. And then I knew that the world is changing.
Pfizer is shipping out the first doses of the coronavirus vaccine as we speak, with hopes that this is the beginning of the end.
Something that had never been manufactured before in the world. We manufactured at scale in the midst of a pandemic.
In those celebratory moments, I often thought of my parents, Moise and Sarah Bourla. They had experienced so much in their lives. I have always wanted to honor their memory in any way I can. When you're living in a place that very few of the citizens are Jewish, you come together as a group and you help and support one another.
Pfizer was a remarkably good partner. They wanted to open access to developing countries. They listened to our pleas for vaccine. Pfizer helped across many different aspects of the complexity of the program, understanding the cold chain storage process, the refrigeration, etc., etc. Hugely complex stuff, but we figured it out with a really, really great partner.
At Pfizer, we strive to be an agent of good for the world as well. In addition to developing and manufacturing breakthrough medicines and vaccines for patients, we are increasingly taking actions to help others in need. Genesis will be donating my 1 million prize to help build the Holocaust Museum of Greece in my beloved hometown of Thessaloniki. Democritus, a Greek philosopher, said, "The greatest pleasures come from the contemplation of noble work."
Thank you, Howard, and thank you to the South African Jewish Report and the Committee for the Jewish Achiever Awards for this truly humbling recognition. Never, as a child growing up in Greece, would I have ever imagined being mentioned in the same breath as people like Nelson Mandela, Archbishop Desmond Tutu, and Maestro Benjamin Zander. I'm deeply honored. I also want to congratulate my fellow honorees. Each of you has, through your actions and leadership, helped build stronger, healthier, safer, and more compassionate communities. This is an incredibly exciting time to live. A time filled with enormous opportunities to improve health outcomes, but also daunting challenges. Science is increasingly demonstrating the ability to take on the world's most devastating diseases. Imagine a time, hopefully in the not too distant future, where young children suffering from rare genetic diseases have the hope of a normal life through a single transfusion of a gene therapy, where patients living with difficult autoimmune diseases can achieve full remission and escape the pain, discomfort, and psychological effects of their illnesses, where cancer patients have the courage and optimism to fight, knowing they have a full arsenal of therapies designed to attack their tumors while harnessing their immune systems to win their personal wars on cancer. And where all patients, regardless of their gender, race, geography, or financial condition, have access to life-changing and life-saving products. This is the future my 80,000 Pfizer colleagues are working toward every day, and they are charting a course towards such a future by thinking big. Inspired by the success of our COVID-19 vaccine, which we deliver in just 9 months rather than the 8 to 10 years it traditionally takes, they are bringing an unwavering focus and incredible ingenuity to delivering breakthroughs that can help patients suffering from other equally debilitating conditions. And thanks to continued advancements in biology and technology, we believe we will see significant progress in many of these areas over the next decade. Unfortunately, this era of unprecedented scientific advancements coincides with a huge health equity gap that determines who in our world can access these innovations and who cannot. The good news is we are bringing the same big thinking that we bring to our labs to addressing these challenges. In May, for example, we launched an Accord for a Healthier World, a groundbreaking initiative to provide access to all Pfizer's patented high-quality medicines and vaccines
that are available in the US or the EU on a not-for-profit basis to 1.2 billion people living in 45 lower-income countries. I'm proud to say that the first shipments of our products have arrived, and we are working with governments, including several in Africa, on health system improvements that can help make sure these products reach those in need. Another challenge we face is the spread of disinformation regarding science and our product, particularly the COVID-19 vaccines, where malevolent disinformation and the gross politicization of all things COVID-19 have led to unnecessary and preventable suffering and death. That is why Pfizer and our industry peers are working closely with governments, NGOs and healthcare providers to rebuild trust in science and educate people about the importance of vaccination. I understand the South African Jewish Report has been doing its part in this regard with its Nab the Jab campaign, and I thank you for using your platform to help take on this global health crisis. Looking ahead, I'm confident that we will overcome our challenges and make the most of our opportunities. I think this optimism comes from being the son of Moise and Sarah Burla, Holocaust survivors, who always instilled in me a belief that nothing is impossible. Throughout my life, I have always gravitated toward and been inspired by people who hold firmly to this belief. In fact, it's one of the many reasons I have remained at Pfizer for nearly 30 years, and why I accept this award on behalf of each and every one of my Pfizer colleagues whose efforts over the past 2.5 years have helped all of us to get back to life. Thank you for this honor and stay well.
This is the end. Hold your breath and count to 10. Feel the earth move and then hear my heart burst again. For this is the end. I've drowned and dreamt this moment, so overdue I owe them.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for all our artists tonight. Thank you, all of you, for being here. Mazel tov to all the winners and to the nominees. Have a wonderful end of the year. And always share kindness. That's the currency. Kindness. Thank you so much for asking me to be here. The DJ's kicking in, the desserts are coming out, and you don't have to go home. You don't have to go home. Give me some music, please. Thank you. Good night.